from WBNE.
Adios. Before we get started today, we want to let you know that this episode of Bacon and Eggs is not an endorsement of the author of the books that these movies we're talking about is about. We're not going to talk about the author. We're probably going to bring it up a little bit. I don't know. We haven't recorded this podcast just yet, but I do want to let you know that we do not endorse what they believe. Also, if you want to support us, you go to patreon.com/baconandeggs. You can check out all the great reward tiers we have over there. We even have new patrons as of this week, and it's the best time of the month to do it because we don't charge you until the first of the month. So if you just want to log in and try it and see what happens, see if you like it, you can totally do that. Anyway, let's get on with the show. Patreon.com/baconandeggs. Thank you for listening. Thank you for donating. And here we go. Howdy, yokes, and welcome back to Bacon and Eggs. I'm Tyler Carlin.
And I'm Ethan Chill.
And today we're going back to Hogwarts.
Or maybe we're just meeting up with some old friends.
So get back all your favorite directors.
And
because today we're bringing you
the Harry Potter 20th Anniversary Special.
The Harry Potter 20th Anniversary Special came out on HBO Max. It's viewable right now. It came out on the 1st of the year, which was 3 days ago as this recording. I have no idea what the budget is. This budget for the series was like $750, maybe a little more. No, probably closer, like $920. Made a lot of money across the series. I have no idea how this is ranking with critics. It's a documentary about Harry Potter.
Let's check old Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, and while you're doing that, I'm going to pull up some listener reviews. Now, on this one, we even enlisted the blurb support of our Facebook group, which is totally free to join. So if you're like, man, I wish I could hang out with Tyler and Ethan, you can head over to facebook.com/a whole bunch of stuff, but join Bacon and Eggs fans. There's a bunch of people. We post every week. It's great.
It is a 94% critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes and an 89% audience rating.
Wait, hold on. What was the critic?
94.
94 and 89?
Yeah.
All right. And I have a review from Keyshawn Jones here on the Bacon and Eggs fan group who says, it was, dare I say, magical to see the cast effortlessly hop back into character like time hadn't passed. And I think the actor of Hagrid said it best that this story will be told for generations, passed down to children, and even though these actors won't live forever, the characters and how they brought everything to life will continue to live on forever. I feel nowadays the story she created is having a life of its own beyond her. She'll always be the creator, but the trio and Fantastic Beasts is having a legacy beyond the author.
Let's hope Fantastic Beasts continues to improve on that legacy and not tarnish it and leave it in shambly pieces.
It was so bad.
Although that being said, Secret Dumbledore trailer looks really good. But so Harold Potmaker.
What did you think of it, Ethan? Diving into the special.
Yeah, I mean, it was it's there's some part of me that loves it because it was like, oh, more Harry Potter content that doesn't make me sad in any way, and then it did make me sad. But
it made me very sad. I'll also I think there's an elephant in the room about this whole thing. I mean, there's obviously an elephant in the room, but there's another elephant in the room that I don't think anybody's talking about.
Well, let me finish what I was saying first.
Sure.
There's some part of me that's like, this is Harry Potter. It's cool, but it's an absolute documentary.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. I got bored.
It's it's propaganda is what I was going to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, hey, you loved Harry Potter, right? You loved it. We all loved it. And it swells with these beautiful musical notes or musical motifs. And then it's just like Emma Watson on Rupert Grint for an hour and 47 minutes.
And that awkward conversation about Tom Felton and Emma Watson being in love with each other, but not allowing themselves to feel it. And
yeah, that was weird. It was
and then they got, and in the middle of it, they got Alfonso Cuarón in to come and talk about a movie that he shot 15, 17 years ago that he apparently remembers as though it happened last week.
The man is a visionary.
I mean, for sure. I loved
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I would have paid to watch Chris Columbus and dude, change your name is the thing. Like your parents were like, Mom and Dad Columbus were like, this is our son, Chris. Change your name. You're the director of Home Alone, for God's sake. Okay, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You're the director of the first 2 Harry Potter movies. You're known for being like good with kids or whatever. Just like change your name. But I would have paid for him and Cuarón to sit in a room together and talk about their experiences working on Potter.
I thought it was interesting how much Cuarón respected Columbus. It seemed like.
Yeah. I guess
I think it's very easy to watch the series and from an armchair be like, "Oh, Cuarón had a vision."
Well, and it's very easy to watch the series and think, oh, there's bad blood there.
Yeah, that
between
David Heyman was like, "Screw you, Chris Columbus."
Yeah.
We're getting an art guy for this one. And
exactly.
instead finding out that like there's a very specific reason they went this route.
Yeah. And I do think it worked. I still to this day think that Cuarón was the wrong move. But
I disagree. And I recently watched Prisoner. I've recently watched the first 5.
Sure.
Like within the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Prisoner, this watch has stood out to me more than it ever has before. And typically in the past when I've loved it, it's been for the front half, but it's the Prisoner has like 4 acts, right? Because it has to go do everything again.
Yeah.
It's the 3rd act. It is, and they touch on this. Daniel Radcliffe and Rupert Grint and Emma Watson were talking about this, how like they were standing in a room with Alan Rickman and David Thewlis and
Timothy Spall and Gary Oldman.
And Gary Oldman, and they were just like acting their asses off.
Yeah.
That scene is so insanely
It's so good. And let me be clear, I'm not saying The Prisoner is a bad movie. I think it is far and away the best movie of the 8 of them. But like that's not really the point. And it makes the series feel disjointed in such a way that like I don't think Mike Newell ever got a fair shake because of it, right? Like Goblet of Fire is not great. Let's be 100% honest. It's a little bit of a mess. It's a messy book. It's a messy movie. And it just sort of like
this is what I like about Goblet the movie is, and I feel bad not knowing the actor's name, is the dude who plays Barty Crouch Jr., not David Tennant, but the guy who's playing Mad Eye Moody.
Oh, yeah.
That character's so good.
I mean, the casting for the whole series, to this day, continues to be spot on, right? Like, if there's one thing they got right, it's casting and set design.
Yeah. And I think one of the big challenges that I realized watching the 20th anniversary with Goblet of Fire as a movie and as a book, one, the book sucks, okay?
Yeah, it's rough.
Listen,
it's rough.
It's bad.
So here's the thing about those 2 movies.
Which 2? Sorry.
4 and 5. Not 4 and 5. 3 and 4. Those movies and those books, right? 3 is a good story that's not about the Harry Potter series. 4 is a bad story that is the Harry Potter series.
Yes. 3's good though, man. 3 is where it all comes from. You say it's not about the Potter series. To me, it's the most Potter series. It's Potter centric.
That's such BS, and it doesn't have anything to do with the rest of the plot. It's just like Sirius Black is a red herring.
Yeah, but it's got Sirius. But like when you build it out a little bit, you got Sirius. You've got Wormtail doesn't get enough credit as a baddie. All right,
I agree.
The worst.
It's because it's not done well enough.
Yeah.
And the other problem is that it ends very far away from the end of the movie. Like the climactic scene happens with the one we were just talking about, all those people in the room in the Shrieking Shack. And there's still a lot of movie to go. There's like a whole plot device left to be revealed. It's got the same problem Eternals does, except backwards.
Yes. Where
Eternals with like 17 minutes left in the movie was like, by the way, there's a celestial inside of Earth.
And we have to stop it.
And Harry Potter the Prisoner of Azkaban, it's like, we killed the celestial that's inside Earth, the thing we've been working toward the entire movie. And now, I don't know, we got to do some other stuff. We got to
save
Marty McFly it. We got to watch the celestial be killed.
Yeah. I don't know. I think...
Look, if Harry
When I
Potter
think
pulled
about-
out a guitar and started playing Johnny Be Good, that would have... then you'd have me. Then you'd have
That's
me, right?
his Patronus. His Patronus is Johnny B.
His
Good.
Patronus is Chuck Berry.
Yeah.
Who just comes out of...
But I think... So the point I was making when our call ended was that, like, the problem with 4 is that it you know... It is the most hormonal of the movies. It's where the dating starts. It's where, like, all the sort of romance comes in.
Sure.
And then it also has the heaviest-handed moment with a character who's not... I guess he's dating Cho, but, like, who's, like, Harry's crush,
Oh,
right?
my God. Yeah. So
But,
you're talking
like-
about Cedric... You talk about Wormtail not being credited enough as a baddie. Cedric is just not given anything to work with, even in the book.
I know.
He's
And
just
I was-
not there.
I know, and then I was watching the movie, and I was like, man, they got Robert Pattinson to do this. What a get. When, like, really at the time, it was not a get.
Yeah.
He hadn't been in The Lighthouse. He wasn't Robert Pattinson yet.
He wasn't Edward Cullen.
Well, he was Edward Cullen, I think, but, like,
No, he was not Edward Cullen yet.
no, not yet.
No.
This was his audition for Edward Cullen?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so, like... And I think if anybody knew the potential of Robert Pattinson, you could have written in a little bit more character development into the movie. I did like what they said, what the producers said, like, yeah, we got this really sort of dark director for the third movie, and then the fourth movie we want, it's a competition, it's English, it's bombastic, we wanted an English director. Now I was like, oh, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, but Mike Newell's just the wrong guy.
No, Mike Newell's not the guy. Like,
Yeah.
right, like...
And here's the thing: is like the older I get, the more I respect what David Yates did with the last 4.
Yeah.
He had him really feeling like a unit, like a cohesive unit,
Yeah.
right? Like they feel Loctite together in a way that the first 4 don't.
Correct.
Obviously, because they're like, we're going to have the first 2 and they're going to be kids' movies. And then we're going to have a drastic stylistic change. And then we're going to have a drastic stylistic change. And then we're going to have a drastic stylistic change. And that stylistic change is the one we're going to stick with. But we're going to just like turn the brightness down every few minutes. Just a little bit more for the next 10 years.
Till it's very dark.
Yeah.
I will say this. I think for you and I who, like, make a habit out of watching a lot of movies,
Yeah.
that's easier to tell. I think on the whole, it's very clear that, like, yes, there are changes from director to director for the first 4.
They completely redid Hogwarts for the second or after the second one.
Correct.
Completely redid Hogwarts.
Yes.
And they continue to completely redo Hogwarts. It's the same on the outside for the rest of them.
And Dumbledore changes.
Yeah, and Dumbledore changes. That's not anybody's fault.
No, and I don't think that was the plan. Although I think it had to happen.
But yeah, I mean, I like Richard Harris is great, right? But he's not the right Dumbledore for the next.
For the rest of it, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the problem with, again, like, they talked about this a lot in the special, like when Aquarin talks about this. When he gets to 13, it's like that is when the onus of the whole thing is really placed upon his shoulders, right? Like he has to grow up really fast.
Oh, yeah. He has to.
And that happens even in the books, right? And that's just like, that's not fair to the filmmakers, right? Like just to write that drastic tonal difference between those 2 books.
Yeah.
Because
Well, I mean, it's-
1 and 2 could be the same book, basically. Like you swap out the nouns and it's the same thing.
I think 3 is important to not have Voldemort as a villain, and I wish another one didn't have Voldemort.
That's the problem, yeah.
I wish they did that again in 5 or 6, which, like, obviously there was no way, right? Like, Cedric Diggory's dead, and then Voldemort went on holiday. Like,
Right, yeah.
it's weird enough he waits until May every year, right?
Yeah. It's the worst in 5, too.
Right.
Because there's no reason, right? Like, Dolores Umbridge exists specifically to give Harry something to be mad about for an entire school year.
Yeah. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, so I think that it's important, like, the first one, you've got this sort of, like, Voldemort thing, and then the second one, you've got this sort of, like, different Voldemort-y thing. I don't know. To me, Rick Riordan couldn't have written 1 and 2. And that's what sort of breaks my heart. Because if other authors could do that, like, I think about these books and I think about, like, I've read books about similar things where there's, like, a school and everybody wears wizard hats and it's, oh, we play sports on broomsticks. I mean, I haven't read other books with obviously these plot points because for the past 25 years they've been taken. But, it's like this silly sort of modern mythos about developing what myths or what witches or, like, what that could be and what that would look like in real society. But these books are just so good, man. She really just owns wizard school the way Tolkien owned, like, elves. Yes. Yeah. Like to me, when people make the comparison, Camp Half-Blood is just like Hogwarts. It's like, no, it's not. It fucking isn't. It's not. Hogwarts is a whole ass character. Yeah. Right. Like Hogwarts is a more interesting character than most. Yeah. You know how in Sex and the City, the fourth member is the city. Yeah. The fifth member or whatever. Yeah. You got the Golden Trio and Hogwarts. Right. And again, a lot of it comes down to the writing, but like I don't think Hogwarts lives and breathes the way it does without the movies, right? Like Harry Potter is a great character and he's great, he's well written, but like Hogwarts lives and breathes because in a lot to do with because of the movies. Yeah. Because you have such strong visuals, right? They took a lot of time and they made sure that it looked and felt magical constantly. To the point where you can walk into a kitschy set piece in a theme park in Florida and cry. Yeah. Yeah, in ways that like I see on TikTok all the time Avengers Campus in Disneyland, California, and I don't think I would cry if I went. No. I think I'd be like, "Oh, this is something." Yeah. I mean, I'm sure I'd like it. It's not walking into Diagon Alley. It's not walking into Galaxy's Edge. Yeah. I haven't been to Galaxy's Edge. Oh, man, it's freaking sweet. Oh, I believe it. Yeah. I 100% believe it. Yeah. The theme park aspect is the only reason that I would want Disney to buy Harry Potter. I think Universal has done a phenomenal job with it. Yeah, but like if it was Disney, it would be like you would just have a whole nother park, right? You'd have the Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom and the Wizarding World of Harry Potter and Hollywood Studios. Or it could be a whole thing. Like you have to get there by the train, like right. I think it would be interesting if one of my big complaints about Universal is they have this amazing Hogwarts castle, and I don't think you can like go in it. Like there's like a ride inside of it, I think, or there was previously. I don't know. I don't remember. I know we've been there. I think Hagrid's motorbike ride is like partially inside of it. Oh, is that it? Yeah. I haven't been. I think since you and I went. I don't think that ride was done yet. Yeah. So I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah, no, but that being said, I was sort of disappointed by the special just because I wanted like a kind of full-scale documentary, and what I got was, a reunion special, right? But it was kind of a disjointed reunion special in the ways that like the Friends reunion wasn't. Yeah, I would have because you had 6 people sit in an apartment together and talk about their favorite moments in episodes, right? It works a lot better for TV shows than it does for huge, gigantic movie franchises. I don't think it does, though. I think had they taken a moment where they said, hey, we want Ray Fine, Robbie Coltrane, Dan, Emma, Rupert, I don't know, who else? Gary Oldman to come sit in a room and talk about their favorite moments on Potter. And we'll just play that for about 20, 25 minutes. We'll do the rest of the special stuff. But if we just had that, kind of kicking around, I think that would have been exceptional. If I got an unadulterated half an hour with Rupert Grint, Daniel Radcliffe, and Emma Watson just talking about what that experience was like without the interruptions of the like funky titles every 5 minutes and without talking to Tom Felton
Not that I have anything wrong with talking to Tom Felton, but like, I would have much preferred like a series of this, right? Like,
yeah,
where it's like this week in conversation with XYZ, this week in conversation with, you know, Tom Felton and Matthew Lewis.
I'll tell you this. It was propaganda and it worked.
Oh, it worked for sure.
It worked. Man, it's not just me. The world is reading these books and watching these movies right now.
Yeah.
And
there's never been anything like it, and there won't be anything like it ever again. And people love to make the complaint of like, well, you know, XYZ movie isn't that good. You know, XYZ book isn't that good. Like, there are better books, there are better movies, and like, yeah, but dude, it's done though. Like, it has been, this whole property has been rubber stamped by, you know, by popular culture in a way that nothing else has, right?
Yeah.
In a way that Disney even can't. They can make $3 billion at the box office, but they can't recreate that, right?
And it's evident that they keep trying. Like,
yeah,
you know, every Marvel movie is bigger than the last, and you have to think at some point Disney's like, we need to bury Potter.
Yeah,
we need to, whatever their top, wherever they sit on the bill on the box office, we need to bury it.
But they're not gonna get it with box office numbers and
because it's not about the box office.
Avengers Endgame, right? They're gonna get it with the TV shows. Truly, I think they'll get closer with anything.
I don't know, man. They're gonna have to, if they want Marvel to be the answer, it'll have to be a park, I think, and they'll have to do better than Avengers Campus. Yeah. Granted, I haven't been. Maybe it's amazing.
I think the closest they ever got was Baby Yoda. Honestly.
Yeah, but Baby Yoda's not the cupboard under the stairs.
No.
Number 4 Privet Drive. No. An owl to look like. I understand every stupid complaint about Harry Potter. Like, I get it. I am a huge proponent of the houses being like the stupidest system in the world.
Yeah.
I can't stand them.
Yeah.
And then when people make comments like, you know, Quidditch is a dumb sport, it doesn't make any sense. Like, yeah, I agree. I think when grown adults play Quidditch, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And
people be like, it's a made up sport, and then the Quidditch fans be like, all sports are made up, and I'm like, yeah, but most sports don't require you to walk around with a broom that doesn't do anything, right? Like,
correct, yeah.
Because the whole thing about Quidditch is that Quidditch doesn't work in the real world the way football does.
You would be flying.
Right, and the balls can think for themselves.
Right. Well, 2 of them, or 3 of them can. Yeah.
Once I see Quidditch played with the Golden Snitch as an FPV drone, then I'll talk. Then we could talk about Quidditch being a real sport.
Honestly, like, if you can program some AI into an FPV drone to get it to like fly as high as, I don't know, 20 feet within a box in just like a random pattern, that got to be pretty easy to program, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But then you put like a little tracker on the seekers and make it like try to evade them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it would try to evade everyone.
Yeah. I think we'd break a lot of drones.
Oh, definitely. They were only using those golden stitches once.
That's true.
Because they got flesh memory.
Close. Yeah.
Yeah, I open at the close.
I think it's a cop-out that the Sorcerer's Stone is not the Resurrection Stone. That was dumb.
Yeah. The problem is, you can't make the Sorcerer's Stone a Horcrux.
I think you take the Sorcerer's Stone away and Nicholas Flamel away and just say that the Quirrell has the Resurrection Stone.
The problem is she was unwilling to retcon her own books.
Correct.
It was the George Lucas-like insistence that she had it planned from the beginning.
Yeah.
The word Horcrux, and I maintain this to this day, the word Horcrux did not exist before book 6.
No, correct. And that was, yeah. Can you imagine theory culture waiting for book 4 to come out and trying to guess what it's going to be about?
Oh, that was the thing, is that the books ended in 2007 or 2006 or whenever it was, right? 2007, yeah. 777.
Yeah.
they had to end in 2007, right? They couldn't exist past then.
Past YouTube.
Yeah. Past like cuz in 2007 I got Facebook, right?
Yeah.
And if I had the opportunity to like speculate on Facebook about the new Harry Potter book with my friends who are also waiting for the new Harry Potter book to come out, it's game over. It's it. It's not fun anymore. It cannibalizes itself because like the Tumblr people talk about this, right? Where they're like, where Tumblr became its own crazy insular community surrounding Harry Potter and still is to this day.
Yeah.
To the point where like Andrew Garfield will go on Tumblr and like speak as canonically Remus Lupin. Because Tumblr's insane. I'm sorry if I offended any of you by saying this, but y'all are nuts. Okay? Mary Clay Watt, if you're listening to this, that includes you.
But we love you.
But we love you. I'm nuts about things too. Yeah, but you, boy. But yeah, if Harry Potter comes out in the age of theory YouTube and all that stuff, like it's game over. It's not any fun anymore.
My question
so much of the good stuff about Harry Potter is that it is book closed at this point, right? And that the book has been closed for 15 years now.
Yeah. I think one of the things this special does well, and they were very close to perfecting it. I know I said we wouldn't, but the special really makes a case for we're going to reclaim Potter for the fans.
Yeah.
And for Daniel Radcliffe and for Emma Watson and for Rupert Grint. They're the creators. David Heyman. Was that the name of the producer?
Yeah, that's the producer.
They're the ones who made this thing. But then they included clips of Rowling. I know they were from the author. I know they were from 2019. But it's still like, during none of those clips was I like, oh yeah, well you did kind of have to include that.
Yeah, no, she wasn't. And honestly, it's less. I don't know how I feel about this, and I was hesitant to even bring it up. But the way that the cast talks about her, I'm almost surprised they got away with, and that I haven't seen anybody really saying anything about it. And I don't know if I think we should, and that's not my decision to make, right? Like, I am almost the least affected by the author's comments, right? Out of all the human beings, right? I am a cisgendered white man. There's not, it is not my place to decide whether or not we should be mad about that. But like the way the cast talks about her in the special, I'm really surprised they included it the way they did. And I do think it shows some tendency toward, oh boy, there's no real easy way to say this. It shows some tendency toward the actors and the cast saving face in the public eye. Because a lot of them clearly still respect the author and enjoy the time they spent with her and are willing to say that publicly in the special when they are less willing to say that in the media.
Yes. And I think...
And again, I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. I truly don't have a take there. It just, that shocked me constantly that they said those things, that they made the cut, that there wasn't some director behind the scenes like, hey, you can't. Hey, Dan, you can't, bud.
But how, like...
But at the same time, how do you tell Daniel Radcliffe what to say about Harry Potter, right?
Right, like,
and I don't think you should,
Harry.
right? I don't think you should.
And I think if you're Daniel Radcliffe, regardless of what the author has said and how much I know he disagrees with it,
sure,
and he's come out and said he has and made public statements, he can't... if I were him, I would be very conflicted.
Oh,
about,
definitely.
Like, yeah, you said some really crappy stuff, but my whole identity and career is built off of your creation.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And I am thankful that I'm in the position that I'm
right.
in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, I think it's very challenging, especially for somebody like Dan, who, I mean, I don't know all the finer details of his private life, but from what I understand, is a cisgendered heterosexual man.
Yeah. I will say, to completely switch gears, I am always, well, not completely necessarily, because it does sort of dive in the same things. I am always struck by how this cast turned out.
Like nobody.
Because like Macaulay Culkin's kind of a fuck up.
Well, hold on. I think you're giving him too much credit. I think I'll say this is the thing that stood out to me more than anything during the special is that Rupert Grint was Ron.
Yeah.
Going back and watching the movies, he is the best child actor.
But what I'm saying is, like, this whole group of people has kept themselves out of the news for any sort of negativity almost entirely.
Yeah.
To have that many people, like, for Matthew Lewis not to be, like, arrested for his 4th DUI or something, like, is crazy.
Yeah.
You get that many kids together in a room of, like, child actors and have none of them just absolutely turn into complete and total burnouts.
Well, Disney can't say that.
Yeah.
I mean, child actors.
They killed Lindsay Lohan's sister.
Yeah. And child actors from Disney end up, Lindsay Lohan had, listen, she's...
Miley Cyrus.
Miley Cyrus had a phase.
Yeah.
Ashley Tisdale, I think, had a thing. Hilary Duff had a thing.
Yeah. Vanessa Hudgens.
Yeah.
Some of these people might be Nickelodeon stars, I'm not sure. But same deal, though.
Those were all Disney stars.
Okay. I get some because I didn't watch really any of them, with the exception of like Drake and Josh and iCarly. I didn't watch many of the like child live action sitcoms that came out during our youthhood.
No?
Not many. Not many.
Dylan and Cole Sprouse went through a thing.
Yeah. But like, so I get which ones are Nickelodeon and which ones are Disney mixed up. Mm-hmm. Like, I have no idea where. I know Hannah Montana is Disney, but like, I couldn't tell you where Victorious aired.
It was on Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
Zoe
yeah,
101.
Like, they had Jamie Lynn Spears.
That was Nickelodeon, but yeah.
Yeah. Like Daniel Radcliffe seems to be a pretty stand-up guy. Rupert Grint is like, doesn't even like do anything in the public.
Yeah, so I worry, like,
owns an ice cream truck and has a wife and children. Like,
my understanding with Rupert Grint, I don't know. Watching it, I was like, man, it seems like you had a harder go of it than the others.
Oh, I'm sure that everything except for the actual filming of the movies was terrible for these kids.
Yeah.
Like,
well, they talk about
and
Emma
even to the
saying,
adults, right? Because like Michael Gambon didn't appear in this special because people are still mean to him about the way he said that one line.
Yeah.
And like, that's utter bullshit.
That's honestly not even his choice. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he
could have had some input on it, but if Mike Newell was like, hey, actually, we're not doing it that way, like, that's that, He
also just, like, he can't control the fact that the Dumbledore that is projected, that is, the Dumbledore that's in the books, right, is completely and utterly unfilmable. Because he's absolute nonsense constantly. He's back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Do we like Harry? Do we not like Harry? Like, you can't film that, right? You have to let the audience know in a movie. Like, the actor has to be able to portray the intentions of the character to some extent. Yeah. And so, like, if we're really going to come down to bullying Michael Gambon because he didn't say a line calmly, then we got a problem, right? And we're not going to bully Ray Fiennes for that laugh.
We're not going to bully Ray Fiennes for anything.
No, I mean, I fully agree, but like it's with some of those people, you can't have it's Sean Bean or Sean Bond, right? You can't have both.
Right.
You can get mad at Michael Gambon for yelling at Harry in that one scene, but you also have to get mad at Ray Fiennes for laughing like that.
Yeah.
It's a requirement.
But I'm just not mad at Michael Gambon. I'm
not either.
Dumbledore.
I'm not either. The other complaint that people have about him is like he didn't read the books or whatever, and like that is not his job. He's not paid to read the books or know the story. He's paid to be Albus Dumbledore.
Yeah, and I think when you watch the special, you get an idea of, like, they're not all sitting around, like, especially with the first two. I was thinking about this. They were showing, like, anytime they weren't actively filming, the kids were playing games.
Yeah.
Like, they're not sitting around like, how do we really portray this? What was Rowling trying to say here? And what's the method actor way of
and so the problem
this
was
scene? Chris Columbus has to sit in his house at 10 p.m. doing that.
Right. And the problem was that, like, you had the kids, right, that all really wanted to be in Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And then you had Chris Columbus that was like, yeah, I didn't want to do it until my daughter read the third book. And you had, Gary Oldman that was like, I was not about Harry Potter until I learned that Alfonso Cuarón was going to be in it or be directing me. And you had Ralph Fiennes being like, I don't know what Harry Potter is. Who is Lord Voldemort? And his sister being like, no, you have to do it, Ralph. You have to.
Yeah.
But it is only Michael Gambon that is expected of.
Right. Well, he's Dumbledore. It's like, no. Alan Rickman doing what he did was above and beyond.
Sure, yeah. Like, praise the people that did it for doing it. Don't, like... But you can't demand that of an actor that, like, they give themselves to the role in a way that is not necessary, right? That's how you end up with Heath Ledger.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have an end to that point. Just, like, there was people that were not featured for various reasons, and that's the one that gets to me. I would have loved to have heard from Maggie Smith and Emma Thompson.
Oh my gosh. Emma Thompson is one of the underrated heroes of the Potter franchise.
Can you imagine, like you're Daniel Radcliffe and you just get to grow up and, like, some of your best adult friends are Alan Rickman and Emma Thompson and, Kenneth Branagh and all these people. Gary Oldman, just the entire British acting industry.
Right.
Some of the greatest people that, character actors to ever live.
Yeah.
It's the British equivalent of, like, your next door neighbors being Steve Buscemi and Paul Giamatti, and just, like, they're your babysitters.
Right. You babysat by Tom Hanks.
Yeah, Tom Hanks and, yeah.
He's not just your babysitter. He's also the director of your local Shakespeare theater.
Right.
And he's in it, but he's playing Tybalt and you're Romeo.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was, I mean, it's always great to hear these people talk about the filming and talk about the process, right? Because I truly do think that they were probably some of the best film sets to work on in the history of the movie industry.
Uh-huh.
That, like, you don't come back with horror stories from Harry Potter. Like, there are so few that fly around.
No, and everybody,
and the anecdotes you get are almost entirely positive.
Yeah. I read Warwick Davis's autobiography last year.
Yeah.
Which is called Life Too Short. Very good.
Yeah.
And he talks about, in that book, his experience on Potter. He's Flitwick in everyone that he's in, and he skips a few somewhere in there. But he talks about it like it's like it was better than being in Star Wars.
Oh, I 100% believe that. Well, everyone hated being in Star Wars.
Not Warwick Davis. They made a spinoff about his character. So,
I mean, that's fair.
Like, but I mean, he talks about it with such, he talks about it like being just the best thing in the world, that, like, he was in, these Potter movies. He's so thankful to have gotten the opportunity to play Flitwick. To be. I'm certain it was amazing.
Yeah. Well, like, you had the first two directed by Chris Columbus, who, like, clearly loves working with child leads, and he's, like, good at it, right? Like, every time I listen to him talk about the kids, I get, like, teary-eyed, just because, like, he loved it so much, clearly, and was just like,
this is so good with them.
This is the best thing. What I didn't expect, truly, out of this special was Cuarón to be that, because, it's easy to think of it as just, like, another movie, which he hasn't done very many, but it's easy to just think about it as another movie for him, right? Like, oh, he did Harry Potter, he also did Roma, right?
Right, but it can't possibly be another movie.
Like, he cares Roma, so much.
And Harry Potter made significantly more than anything else.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. But
Taika
I
Waititi
guarantee
is not
you-
going to forget he did Thor.
Sure. But like it as an example of Thor directors, like I guarantee you that Kenneth Branagh doesn't look back at his time doing Thor as the best part of his career.
No, he definitely
You know?
doesn't. Kenneth Branagh thinks about Gilderoy Lockhart more than he does Thor of Asgard.
Probably. I think he and Emma Thompson were like married while they did the Harry Potter movies, but
Oh, really?
yeah.
Isn't she like a lot older than him?
Did Kenneth Branagh?
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
No. What was I gonna say? But yeah, like for Cuarón to come in and be like, just speak the way he did, especially about Sirius Black, and I was like, this dude gets it. Still to this day, right? He could make the movie again tomorrow
Without reading the book again.
Yeah. You had Chris Columbus be like, yeah, dude, I loved working with the kids. It was great. And you had Mike Knoll being like, yeah, I wrestled with Fred and George, and I probably shouldn't have done that. And you had David Yates be like, I'm still working on this. Please don't kill me if I say anything wrong. Alfonso Cuarón, like, Sirius Black is a misunderstood character in like it just keeps cutting back to him like saying things.
He's so smart.
I'm going to insert some goddamn smarts into this documentary if I have to bully them for it.
David, I didn't think about how David Yates is like actively working on Potter.
Yeah, he like took time off from filming The Secrets of Dumbledore,
right,
to record this.
David Yates like, oh god, was that Fantastic Beasts? Which one? Hold on, which one was Eddie Redmayne in?
And you know what? This is what I've always flabbergasted by with these movies is how many practical sets they made for these movies.
Oh, and like the WB studio tour?
And just how they've kept all of them.
Oh, well, yeah, they're not going anywhere, man.
No, but for sure. But like that's never happened. Ever.
Yeah, you can't go to the Isla de la Muertas.
Right. Yeah. You can walk to Universal or whatever in Hollywood and go to like the town square where they did Gilmore Girls and American Pie and some of Supernatural, but like there's no other movies like that. I'm astounded by how many practical sets there were, and I'm also always astounded by how many of the outdoor scenes were shot in the soundstage.
Yeah.
Like, because when they were doing that, the scene with the Whomping Willow, like, inside, in just, like, a big room with some fog, like, not even green screens, but just like a blue wall, like a midnight colored wall and some fog, and, like, a big tree. Wild. And I don't know, Gary Oldman can turn into a big black dog. Yeah, absolutely. The other thing I was possibly the least impressed with, I don't think I've ever heard Gary Oldman talk, just like normally.
In like his normal Gary Oldman voice?
In his normal Gary Oldman voice, he was just like, yeah, they painted me as a villain. And I was like, you're a tour de force of dramatic acting. What is that voice that you're using? Like, you're Jim Gordon, for God's sake.
Well, Jim Gordon's an American.
I know, but like I just was not expecting. Like, I don't know what Leonardo DiCaprio sounds like.
No, me neither.
Like, Leonardo DiCaprio could come up to me like, cheerio, pip pip, governor, I'm Leonardo DiCaprio. And I'd be like, yeah, that tracks.
Sure,
I guess. Yeah, Gary Oldman just be like, they painted me as a felon. I was like, who are you? What was that?
He was so good in that movie. Good Lord.
Yeah. And it's always wild to me. Like, I love seeing the villains just be super, because I'm sure they this was a factor, right? That like Helena Bonham Carter and Ralph Fiennes and Jason Isaacs are like the nicest people in the world.
When they cast Jason Isaacs that they were like, how nice are you to children in real life?
Yeah.
Like,
well, and I remember hearing Jason Isaacs talk one time. He like after he got the job, he watched the first one and was like, Draco's a little shit. I've got to be worse than this guy. How am I going to do that?
Oh, he's so good though. I think Lucius Malfoy is a character that like I think that's something that during 7, the author was just like, oh, shit, Malfoy, what are we going to do about this?
Yeah, God, what a great character that I've just underwritten the whole time.
Yeah, oh.
God. And honestly, it's one of those things where, like, that is a portrayal that is better than the book, right? Like, Jason Isaacs as Lucius Malfoy.
Yeah.
Helena Bonham Carter as Bellatrix Lestrange.
Yeah.
Better than the book, right? Those characters live and breathe because of the actors.
Yeah. Helena Bonham Carter, good lord.
I mean,
you know who could have made a good Dumbledore?
Helena Bonham Carter?
No.
Who?
Johnny Depp.
Well, he's not even allowed to make a good Grindelwald anymore.
I know.
And the thing
that's
that's
going to be so infuriating is that Mads Mikkelsen is going to do such a good
crush
job.
It. He's going to absolutely crush it. Because as soon as they were like, I think I thought it before they even like announced him. I was like, God, he'd be so good to like, you know, replace him.
Yeah.
Although we were talking about it in the office the other day.
No, this is the thing. Mads Mikkelsen is going to do such a good job, but Johnny Depp and Dumbledore,
Jude Law
did have great romantic chemistry that I don't think Mads Mikkelsen and Jude Law will have.
No, I don't think they will either. Although who knows, right?
It's Mads
I don't
Mikkelsen.
think we've seen, because we haven't seen Mads Mikkelsen's, and I don't think this is going to be it, right? But we haven't seen Mads Mikkelsen's Oscar role yet.
Right. It's
like
out there.
that dude's best is still ahead of him.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp's best is absolutely behind him.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were talking about this in the office the other day, and I think it would be great if they just kept recasting Grindelwald with every movie.
Oh, so it's like it was Colin Firth and then
Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell. I literally in my brain was like, I always get Colin Firth and Colin Farrell mixed up. I'm just gonna go for it.
But I do the same thing, but in name alone, right? Like I absolutely know the difference between the two of them.
Oh yeah, they don't look the same.
No, and they could not be more different with like how they are in movies. It's like Colin Firth would make an awful Grindelwald.
No, he'd make a good Dumbledore.
He would make a great Dumbledore.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you get Colin Farrell, and then you get Johnny Depp, and then you get Mads Mikkelsen, and then you get Christoph Waltz.
And you just keep doing it?
And you just keep doing it.
And by the end, Ezra Miller is playing.
Ezra Miller himself is playing Grindelwald. And Credence. By
Henry
Fantastic
Cavill?
Beasts 7, Daniel Radcliffe is playing Grindelwald.
Dame Maggie Smith.
Somehow still alive.
Hey, don't you open your mouth.
I don't think I could jinx her at this point. If that special we just watched doesn't, I don't think we could jinx her. Because she was the one that was like dying on set 10 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
12 years ago. She was being pushed around in a wheelchair for the last 2 movies.
And then did that again for Downton Abbey.
Yeah. And it's just still going.
Yeah.
And they had to do it, right? They obviously had to do the like, for all those we've lost along the way scene. Yeah. I didn't need that. I didn't need that in my life. Leave me alone.
I was surprised.
It was a really jarring transition in the actual special.
It was.
Especially because then they were like, let's talk about the fun scenes in the last 2 movies after that.
I think.
And then we're going to film everybody crying for 10 minutes.
Here's my thing. If you're going to include clips of the author speaking in 2019, then you can include clips of Alan Rickman and his relationship with Daniel Radcliffe.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Because they had such an important relationship.
I'm sure in the author's contract with Warner Brothers, there is something that, like, when they eventually made this, she had to be included in some way.
Yeah.
I'm positive. But also, like, if you're Warner Brothers, like,
don't be a coward.
Well, on one hand, don't be a coward, but like they are always going to be cowards, right? And they're gonna bend,
Dude,
right?
Warner Brothers, they can't afford to not bend. Listen, this is the weirdest part about being a Harry Potter fan, is especially coming back around to it and being like, you know what? The fans claim it. It's our thing.
Yeah.
And then hanging out with people who never left. It's like, wait a minute.
People who have no idea what you're talking about.
Right. Or don't care.
Yeah.
Like, do know, and they're like, yeah, I mean, I don't think those things that she said were that bad. Which, like, let me tell you, you're wrong.
Right. And there are also a whole subset of people, and like, these are not my people to criticize, right? But like, they just love Harry Potter and don't feel the need to interface with it that way. Where like, their love for it is more important than the politics surrounding it.
Right.
Because like, I feel this sometimes where like, you know, I'm not going to go, there are certain canceled artists that like, I can't stop listening to their music. And I'm not saying I'm not saying separate art from the artist. Like, I'm probably not going to buy vinyls or go to concerts or whatever. And those people usually aren't touring anymore anyway. But like, the music is important to me in a whole different way that like,
right.
I don't, the relationship is so complicated these days. And I truly hope that she comes to see the error of her ways and can accept and profess love and learn to, you know, coexist with the people that love her thing, right? And we can one day welcome her back.
Yeah, and I think, you know, for the fans who, I think my critique of the fans through this whole thing are any, I don't know where I'm going with this.
Yeah, just bail out then. Don't worry about
Yeah.
it. It's not, I mean, it is our fight, right? But it is not our decision.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying any fan should stay and they should ignore.
No, yeah, I know you're not saying that. It's just like, there's so many different
There's so much
sides
nuance to it.
It's not a two-sided coin, right? It's not a black and white issue.
No, it's not, because there is the art, the artist, and the viewer.
Especially with movies, right? Especially with movies.
Especially with movies with starring amazing activists like Emma Watson.
Well,
you know?
it's not even that. Like, it's because I don't want to just put it on the, you know, what the actors do and don't do offset, but it's like, there's so many people. There is no movie that is a single person endeavor, right? Like,
Right.
not the way books are, not the way music is, not that, you know, music is a single person endeavor either, but like, it can be in a way that a movie simply can't be.
Yeah. The exception always being notable.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you think about Bo Burnham's Inside, and it's like, yeah, that's partially incredible because he did it by himself.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. But it also is the kind of thing we have to have an argument about whether or not it's a movie, right? Like,
right.
Simply because
he did do it by himself. So
it's not even that. It's just like, it does not meet any of the criteria.
Sure it does.
Not really.
It's so good.
I'm not saying it's not good. God, I hate it when you do that.
So good. Is it a movie? Is it a comedy
I hate
special?
it when you do that.
What is it? Oh, it's so good.
Because you just make me sound like an asshole. You do this all the time where you're just like, I'll make a point, and you'd be like, it's so good. It's just like, yeah, I get it. It's not the point I was making. I'm not saying it was bad. I'm saying something completely different about it. But now all they're going to hear is, either thinks it's bad, Tyler thinks it's good.
Well, it is so freaking good. So good.
Good old Harold Potmaker. Larry Potter.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I don't know if I have anything else to say about this special.
Yeah, I don't either. You think you'll watch it again? Like, in any short time frame?
No.
Yeah, I don't think I will either.
But I think I will plow through the books.
I mean, I did that like 70 days ago.
And I'll continue plowing through the movies. I might even watch the Fantastic Beasts one. I'll say this in regards to the books. Maybe it's because I just watched the movie. I don't know. I just picked up the first one, and I've read that book so many times.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like I can just pick up from like 3 or 4. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I think people who do that are insane.
Where like I have to start with the first.
You
one.
got to start with the first one.
But I just kind of like, honestly, it's on Emily's Audible account, which I have the password to, so I can certainly log in and listen. And it's like 7 hours long, so if you put it on 2x, that it's. I don't feel guilty about putting those books on 2x. I've read them.
Nor I. Yeah.
I know what happens.
Yeah.
Also, our 1 year reading challenge is over, and I can listen to whatever speed I freaking
You can do whatever you want now. I haven't touched a book.
No?
Since New Year's Eve. Yeah.
I actually have made my biggest progress. I mean, it's been 4 days. I think you can take a 4-day break.
Oh, I can take whatever break I want. I won.
Right. There's no rules.
Handily.
I've made my most progress on a book. I don't think I read in all of December. I've made my most progress on a book in a while. I listened to like 7 hours of a 1,000-page book.
Nice.
I know.
But I do want to, we were talking about Name in the Wind today at work, and I do want to read that again.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
It's on my list.
I was talking because Ben mentioned something about it today that I was just like, I don't know who you're talking about. I've lost those details. And he was like, yeah, well, you've read a lot of books since you last read Name of the Wind. I was like, I've read 193 books since I last read Name of the Wind.
I can name Kvothe, Coat, who is also Kvothe.
Well, you also didn't read the sequel.
Abinthy. That's it.
That's it?
Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Tim the Toolman Taylor. Yeah, no.
He's in the bar. I know that he has like a ward in the bar. I know that much.
Bast.
And there's this Bast, and there's a scribe.
Chronicler.
who's
Devin
writing
Lockheed.
the story. And I know that the chronicler gets mugged, and he hides his gold pieces in his sock, I think.
I don't remember that.
It's very early on.
Who are the evil people?
The Chandrian.
The Chandrian. There you go. Good man.
I couldn't tell. Is there like a Chief Chandrian? Like the Lich King?
Oh, yeah. I don't remember what his name is, though.
Yeah.
It's something like fire related.
Yeah, I know they make blue fire. I know he goes to like a port city, and it's just the
Tarbean.
Tarbean, and it's the most uncomfortable 6 hours of book ever.
Yeah.
It's just like, and then I lived on the streets and got beaten to shit over and over again.
Over and over again. They broke my father's lute case.
And then I died.
And then I had to learn to play a lute with 6 strings.
And then 5. And then 4. And then eventually I could play any lute they made.
I could play any lute I wanted. And this is going to come back later on, I promise.
And then he goes to the university, and the book is like, pacing is back, pacing is back.
We're telling the part of the story that's actually a story.
This part doesn't suck.
We covered 10 years in the last 200 pages, and now we're going to cover 2 days in the next 400.
Yeah. There's a girl he meets. Hold on. So the way that the magic works is sympathy is every item is connected to another item, and it's how closely they're connected. So if you have like a wooden dowel, you can like move a tree, right? Because they're both made of wood.
But it's harder to move a tree with a nail.
Yeah. Yeah. How would you take a sparrow out of the sky? Or an eagle or a hawk or a raven?
And don't give anybody your blood.
Yeah, because then they can.
Don't ever give anybody your blood.
I remember more
especially, don't accuse the person who has your blood of selling your blood to somebody that wants you to die.
Yeah,
she'll get very mad,
yeah.
and then she'll hook up with you. I think.
I don't know. Is that the book where the dad's like call a lady and a bride a bride, but don't ever call a whore? Is that book?
Yeah, I believe so.
What a weird set of lines.
No, it comes back later on, though.
Okay. Sure.
It's a whole thing. It's part of the theory.
Ah. Well, I need to reread the book, and then I have to read the sequel, and then I have to...
And then the new one's coming out.
I mean, maybe, like...
No, he's like announcing a date.
Well, sure. And on February 2nd, we'll find the new name of the Washington football team.
Yeah, I mean, sure. Probably.
When is Green Bay going to change their name, Ethan?
Why would they change their name?
Because their name's stupid.
But it's not, because it's stood the test of time, right? I was explaining this today about why the Green Bay Packers, even though it's a stupider name, is a better name than the Washington Red Wolves.
Red Wolves was a dumb name. I don't know why anybody was ever about Red Wolves.
Yeah.
And they officially announced it's not Red Wolves.
Then what is it if it's the Washington Commanders?
It's going to be something
dumb.
military.
It's equally dumb.
Yeah, it's going to be very dumb because it's going to be a military thing.
Here's how you fix the Washington football team in maybe 5 easy steps. Arrest Dan Snyder. Make it federal law that the team has to play their home games within the borders of D.C. Change the colors to red, white, and blue. They can have any name they want at that point. It doesn't really matter. And then burn FedEx Field to the ground because it's awful.
FedEx Field does suck.
I personally, the only name that I have liked out of this whole thing was the DC Sentinels.
I believe that already exists.
No, that was the DC Defenders. They were the XFL team.
Isn't the DC Sentinels the WNBA team?
No.
No, those are Washington Mystics.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've liked Hogs or Red Hogs the whole time.
Nah. Also stupid. Warthog's bad animal.
It's got history with the team.
Doesn't matter. But it doesn't though. You don't get to have history. Okay? You need to break the association.
You can't break the association when they were last good in 1993, when the Hogs were on the team.
It doesn't matter. We have to take them. We, the rest of the NFL fans, have to take them seriously. Is the problem.
There's a team in our division called the Giants.
Yeah.
Named after
your New York Football Giants. They've been around for a long time.
They're named after the baseball Giants.
Okay, and they've stood the test of time. Here's the thing. If you're gonna tear down a cool old building and you're gonna build a new shitty building in its place, you at least have to make the building cool in a way.
RFK wasn't where FedEx is.
I'm not talking about buildings.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying like so your brother compared it earlier to the difference between the Roanoke Star and the Taubman Museum of Art. So we're getting hyper local here, right? Where like everybody loves the big stupid star on the mountain because it's old and big and stupid. And nobody likes the new big stupid art museum because it's new and big and stupid.
I love the new big stupid art museum.
It's not the point, Tyler, and you know it, okay?
Just want to go on record. I am a fan of the Taubman.
The correct comparison would be like if Roanoke had 32 art museums that had been slowly built over time, right? All the way from like you built the first one in, and I mean I know Green Bay wasn't the first, but like it's a stupid name, right? So you built the first one and it's called like Dave's Gallery of Paints or whatever. Dave's Paint and Tile Plus, and that's your art museum. It's got a stupid name, right? But it's cool and it's old and it's been around for 100 years and everybody loves it. And then you've got a new art gallery, and this is like your Carolina Panthers, right? Or your Jacksonville Jaguars, where you've got like the Roanoke Art Gallery, right? Mm-hmm. And what you're doing with the Washington football team is you're taking something that was maybe named like the Roanoke Racist Art Gallery, right? But instead of changing its name to the Roanoke Art Gallery, you're changing it to Jeff.
How is Washington?
Except in the process, you just took down the sign that said Roanoke's Racist Art Gallery and put up a sign that says the Roanoke Art Gallery. And then are like, but this is not permanent. We're just going to change its name to something stupid like Jeff or Wigglesmith?
Washington Riggins.
That's the worst idea I've heard yet. The problem is, I have no issue with warthogs other than the fact that warthogs are not cool in any way.
Disagreed.
They're
Razorbacks
gross,
is a great
nasty. Okay, the Washington Razorbacks is different. But
there's some Arkansas
that is
association
a
with
college mascot, right? Like you could be the
couldn't be the Washington Hokies.
You could be the Washington Tigers. You couldn't be the Washington Hokies.
Yeah.
You couldn't be the Washington Razorbacks, right?
Right. The Washington Golden Gophers. It
Right,
is
you
on
can't-
Groundhog Day.
You can't be, right? The Washington Groundhogs. Their motto is just absolutely wild. It's not in Pennsylvania, $A or comma A question mark.
Yeah. Although Punxsutawney is near Philadelphia, right? That would be kind of a slap. If we were the
Punxsutawney is near
Washington-
Pittsburgh, I believe.
Ah, damn it. You think you're right because it's miserable in Punxsutawney. And you can say it's miserable in Philadelphia all you want. It's miserable in Pittsburgh in a whole other way.
Well, it's miserable in middle Pennsylvania in a whole third way.
Yeah. But if we were the Groundhogs...
The middle of Pennsylvania is like if West Virginia... It's the exact same as West Virginia, except it's not like...
pretty
Their hard times aren't a cool heritage, right? Like,
right.
like West Virginia sucks because it's always sucked, right? Middle Pennsylvania
Right.
sucks exactly the same way, but like West Virginia's already got that claimed.
Yeah. So here's my thing. The new Washington uniforms do have stars on them, which I think is a grand oversight.
Okay.
Because
Tell
the
me about
Dallas
that.
Cowboys have stars. That's like their uniform.
Yeah, but like all the other Washington teams have stars.
So? I'm sorry, if we put stars on our uniform, Dallas has to change.
No, I don't agree with that.
No, I think they do.
I think Dallas is one of the few teams doing it right, honestly.
Disagree. I mean, Cowboys is a good name, right? Like that's
They're cool uniforms, man. Look, there's a lot of things I'd fix about the NFL. Specifically, like, as far as branding goes, okay? The Cleveland Browns need a real logo. The Bulldog is cool, right? Just make it a Bulldog. It's fine.
Cleveland Bulldogs.
No, but you can keep calling it the Browns. I don't care about the name, right? In that case, I don't care about the name. But like, your logo can't be an orange football helmet. If you're not willing to put a sticker of an orange football helmet on the side of your orange football helmet, it can't be your logo. End of story. The Washington football team should be required to keep the just number helmets forever. New England should be required to play in red jerseys. And get rid of the silver.
hold on.
Get rid of the silver entirely.
I think
silver sucks.
Dallas. I think Dallas should be the only team that's allowed to wear white jerseys.
Like at
Ever.
home? Ever?
No, ever.
Think everybody should do the baseball thing and wear gray?
No, wear your color.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah. The Los Angeles...
If I went to a Cardinals game and Kyler Murray came out on the field in a white jersey, I'd be like, this is stupid. This defeats the whole point.
The Los Angeles Chargers need to wear the powder blue for every single game,
Every
and the
game.
Los Angeles Rams need to stick with the throwbacks year round. The bright blue, not bright blue, like the royal blue and the bright yellow.
NFC East can play, or not NFC East, AFC North, AFC East. The Jets and the Bills have to wear their color rush jerseys every game.
Agreed. Giants need to go back to wearing the cream pants all the time. Those were cool.
Seattle can wear whatever they want.
Seattle can wear whatever they want. Tampa Bay has to wear the creamsicle uniforms for one home and one away game every year.
Speaking of sports, we've been talking
Baltimore
about sports
needs to
about 10
delete
minutes.
purple jerseys. Wear all black. Stop trying to wear purple shirts.
No, I think if you're going to have a team...
Chicago can never wear an orange shirt or an orange pants again.
Chicago has the best jerseys in the NFL.
I agree. Yeah. Minnesota Vikings, you're doing great, sweetie. Do whatever you want. You're fine.
I do want to shift gears just a little bit.
Philadelphia Eagles have to wear the throwbacks every single game.
They have to wear the green.
Kelly
eagle.
Green with the white and gray.
Yeah.
Get rid of that color that you have now entirely.
Yeah, it's ugly. It's aughts. Okay.
Welcome to a sports-related hash brown in the middle of our Harry Potter episode. Congratulations.
Yeah. So I purchased NBA 2K22 for the Nintendo Switch. Do you know how much storage the Nintendo Switch comes with?
Like 64 gigabytes?
Nope. It comes with 32.
32.
Do you know how big of a game 2K is? Even if you have the cartridge?
101.
40.
40? Really? That's way smaller on the Switch. Strong chance it's over 75 on the Xbox. It's got to be.
Well, I do have, for one thing, the Switch doesn't have the same graphics, so that's 100% why.
Yeah, I mean, true.
So I don't have an SD card. I purchased one, but I'm going to start playing 2K. I'm excited. I'm going to play it on the Switch because I've decided if I can do it on the Switch, I'm going to do it on the Switch from now
Those are the best sports games. Fun fact.
With 2K?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm really working on caring about basketball. I might start gambling a little bit, put like $10 in.
Have you decided on a team?
I'm still bouncing around. Somebody made a case for the Knicks, which is like, it's the Knicks, baby. It's not always about the money.
Yeah.
Like, that's such a good argument.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but you got to remember, man, the Knicks are so bad at basketball.
The Knicks are so bad. I can't like a bad team in every sport.
Yeah. The Knicks are way worse than the Washington football team.
I know.
There's zero hope there.
I really like the idea of the Hawks. I keep coming back to them, but I just don't like the idea of Atlanta sports. Somebody told me to like the Sixers as though listen, I'll tell you right now. Listener,
Okay, you can hate the Eagles all you want. Don't associate the Eagles with the Sixers, okay? That's a whole different thing.
Bryce Harper.
You don't care about baseball.
I care about that.
The National League is stupid. Entirely. Let's talk about that. American League till I die, baby. Also, Bryce Harper sucks, and you should have never been a fan of him. He's an asshole. Never liked him for a second.
So the Phillies are out.
Yeah, I don't like the Phillies, the Flyers, or the Eagles, but I do like the Sixers. Remember, Tyler, JJ played for the Sixers.
JJ played for the Bucks.
And the Sixers go in on like the Philadelphia thing more than any other Philadelphia sports team.
JJ played for the Magic. That's like the team he played for, right? That was like where people knew him.
Yeah, but you can't be a Magic fan.
No. Orlando sports, that's a no.
They have the worst branding maybe of any sports team. Man, if
somebody said the Grizzlies, hey. I do like Bears.
I think you got to rethink this Hawks thing, man. The Hawks are cool.
I know, that's my thing.
Because here's the thing. The Hawks color scheme, white, red, and neon. It's cool, man.
Yeah, so when I get the game, I have to wait for my SD card to come in so I can play. But I think I'm going to play a career mode. I guess I don't want to like do a creative player because I want to know who the players on the team are, right?
I mean, you'll learn.
But if I did like a creative player and was like, I play for the Lakers now, like, is LeBron James not play anymore because I'm LeBron James?
I mean, if you choose to be a small forward.
Is that what LeBron James is?
Yeah.
Okay.
But like here's what I don't know how 2K22 works. There are some games where like you have no control over where you get drafted, and there are some games where like you get to literally pick.
Uh-huh.
And I have no idea which one this one is because it changes basically every other game. I would just pick a position and then do like the barest minimum research. Be like, who needs this position?
Mm-hmm.
So like if you want to be a point guard, probably don't go for the Lakers because it's gonna be hard to get over Russ. But like if you want to play like the off guard, like go find a team that needs a shooting guard and go there, because then you're not going to overshadow like a player that you should know about, right?
Right. I think, yeah. So I don't know, man. I know the Celtics are out, the Bulls are out, Lakers are out,
just
Golden
play,
State's
play
out.
for a really absolutely dog shit team like the Orlando Magic.
No, I can't play with the Magic. I got it. Like, I don't know, man. It's been weighing on me a lot. I want to pick a team and start betting on them.
Who plays? Here's the thing. Here, I'll tell you this, because the Atlanta Hawks are going to provide a good ROI in this game. Who plays for the Atlanta Hawks?
And the thing about Atlanta, like if I wanted to go down and see them play, I could.
It's doable.
I bet they play in DC. I bet they play in Memphis and Charlotte. Somebody said Hornets. That's a no-go.
Memphis is really far away.
Yeah, you have to fly there.
100% chance Memphis is farther away from Roanoke, Virginia than Atlanta.
I know. I have a basketball memory in Memphis. Kobe died when I was in Memphis one time. And while the hotel I was staying at was where, not the players, but the refs were staying for a Grizzlies game that day. I think I've told this story before. But I was sitting at the bar when the news that Kobe died was on the television. And sitting next to me at the bar was an NBA ref who was like, I know Kobe Bryant. This
Jesus.
sucks. And so that was kind of like so I do have that kind of connection there.
Yeah.
I don't have anything like that. I mean, I've been to 2 Wizards games, but I don't feel much attraction to the Wizards, to be honest with you.
You and I went to a Wizards Hawks game.
Did we really?
Yeah. Saw Dwight Howard play for the Hawks.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. You ever seen that statistic that's like Knoxville is closer to Canada than it is to Memphis?
I believe that 100%.
Yeah. Tennessee's wide.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, this has been Bacon and Eggs Talks about Harry Potter, the special.
I've enjoyed this conversation.
Yeah, it's been funsies.
I'd love to know what you thought of the special, or what you think of us, or I don't know how you're doing with the whole thing. If you don't want to talk about Potter anymore,
now's a bad time to decide not to talk about Potter. I'll be 100% with you. You've had a good few years, people that don't want to talk about Potter.
But also, you just,
Yeah, do you. Anyway, I've been Ethan Edgehill. That's been Tyler Carlin. The Bacon and Eggs podcast is a production of WB&E Podcast Network. For more great podcasts like that, like this one, go to WB&E.org or find our great podcasts wherever you look for podcasts. And here's a promo.
Late to the party.
That's what I was going to do.
No way.
Yeah. We're coming back after a brief hiatus.
I know. I heard the news today. I had Jordan Balky and I are forging a powerful friendship.
I've heard. I'm very happy about this.
Yes. You can't stop us.
I don't want to stop you. Our graphics for this show are by Vaishon Brandon, Vaishon Designs on Instagram. And our music is normally by Andrew Scott Bell, and it might still be by Andrew Scott Bell. It might also be like by a Harry Potter lo-fi artist that I found on the internet. Who knows?
Yeah.
Anyway, this has been Bacon and Eggs. And until next time, arrivederci.
Bye. I mean, Avada Kedavra.